So how do you feel about this one? This will preserve the carried interest loophole, which allows private equity and hedge fund managers to pay lower tax rates than most workers. Trump has repeatedly promised to close this loophole.
Well, you're talking about workers like W-2 employees? Or what kind of worker are you talking about? There's a very specific, a 1099 employee, someone who creates things compared to someone who just works for a company.
So you think the private equity and hedge fund managers should be paying lower taxes?
I think no one should pay any taxes. So anything that's incrementally towards that goal, I am for. I think a tax is a secret. It steals our money from us, including inflation, obviously, which is a hidden tax. So no, I don't want any taxes whatsoever. Allow the government to run like it was initially supposed to be, very limited, very small, and efficiently. So look, I have a easy way to fix the entire problem. Instead of the government making all these tax loopholes and tax rules, making it so complicated so we don't know how much they're getting, where it's going, why don't we do this? The government says, look, we're going to not charge any taxes. And at the end of the year, we're going to tell you how much money we need to print in order to fulfill our duties or responsibilities as a government. That way, every single American will see, wow, you really need $3 trillion this year. That's how much you need. Instead of saying, well, we got $2 trillion from taxes here and tariffs here, because when you muddle it, the average American can't understand if it's working efficiently. If they did it this way, everyone would know, here's how much the government needs to print to fuck us over and to put money in their pockets. That would be a much simpler way to do it.
Okay, well, in a world where I understand what that means.
No taxes, government needs money. They print money at the end of the year and tell the American people how much they're going to print. It doesn't get simpler than that.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds like a great plan. Again, can you explain it a little further? Because I'm very simple-minded.
That's fine. That's literally it.
That's it.
No taxes. Government spends money, right? They have a budget and things like that. At the end of the year, they tell the Americans, hey, here's how much money we need to print because we didn't charge any taxes, so we're not taking in any money. But here's how much money we need to print in order to run the government for the next year or for the next quarter.
So when
then every American would see exactly how much the government's spending.
So when Trump proposes a $1 trillion Pentagon budget, you think that shouldn't be paid?
You mean the DOD or the Pentagon specifically?
I don't care regardless.
Okay, well, it's a DOD budget. It's not specifically a Pentagon budget.
Okay, so do you think that our tax money should be going to that?
I think we need to defend. Yeah, absolutely. You have to have an army. You have to defend. Now, do I think a lot of that goes to the military-industrial complex? Yes. Do I think it should be limited? Yes, 100%. But in the world where you have China and you have all these things going on, what are you going to do, right? You have technology that the Chinese are advancing way faster than us. As far as we know, obviously, I know they have programs that we don't even know about. But when you have fifth-generation technology being held by Chinese now and working on sixth-generation technology, you have to do something. That R&D is incredibly expensive. Just one of those helmets in the F-35 costs something like $300,000 because it's specifically made for each individual pilot according to their specific measurements.
So you're good with the tax money going to that?
I'm okay with the DOD having a budget. I think they spend too much, yes, but it's something that's necessary. More necessary than something like giving $10 million to Ghana or wherever it was for circumcisions.
Listen, I think that it is extremely important for global health to be investing in global health. I think that if we were more invested in global health, we would probably be seeing a lot less epidemics that kill a lot of people. And that is stuff that I'm totally cool with my tax dollars going to. When I have to pay my tax.
Epidemics that kill more people, like what epidemics do we have recently?
What epidemics do we have that U.S. aid works to prevent? A lot of them. That's what U.S. aid is for.
Like which one though?
HIV.
Okay, that's new. Do we not have medicine that you can take? You can take a pill every single day?
We do. Other people don't.
Okay, so and we can't ship it to other countries. Like private companies can't sell to other countries, and they can't use their money to buy these medicines. They have to rely on us.
We should be
Africa
providing
can't
those
be like,
things. Yeah.
Yo, 40% of our people have HIV. There's a little pill. You take it every day. You can have sex. You won't get HIV.
If we could provide those services for people, we absolutely should.
Meaning we as Americans pay for everyone else's health all around the world, except for ourselves.
Where they can't afford it, yeah, I don't mind. That doesn't bother me.
Okay, so who's going to pay for it?
The American taxpayer.
Okay, and are they polled?
Sorry?
Are they polled about this? Do they give their consent to have their money spent? Right, because typically you vote in a.
Well, you know that a lot of these USAID programs that the DOGE is molesting are like very often bipartisan. As a matter of fact, they almost unilaterally receive bipartisan support.
And just because they're bipartisan, they're good? No. If something's bipartisan, most of the time it's even more egregious than one side taking it because we have a uniparty in Washington, as you probably know, that's influenced by money and politics and special interests that codify these things into laws, which benefits that company. So yes, if it's bipartisan, I don't care. It's not like, oh my gosh, do you agree? So it's a great thing. No, that's when I'm even more scrupulous. I'm like, why does everyone agree on this one thing? Who's making money off it?
So what does a conservative senator have to gain from the United States offering services to people who are dealing with epidemics in Africa? A conservative is
If they're for it, maybe money. I don't know.
So you think that conservative politicians who were supporting USAID were getting paid by some sort of interest group?
Every politician is getting paid by some sort of interest
Okay,
group.
what interest group is paying people to support USAID?
You're telling me a hypothetical that you're not even naming a specific senator. You're just saying a Republican senator, so I can't respond to hypotheticals and give you specific numbers. I have no.
But if I gave you the right Republican senator, you'd be able to tell me which interest group wanted them to.
No,
support.
I don't have that kind of knowledge in my head. I don't have. I wish I did. I'd be like,
what genre of interest group? Like what type of interest group is paying off Republicans to support USAID?
Oh, again, I have no idea the answer to that question. It's so specific.
Well, it sounds like you're telling a fairy tale.
No, it's actually, you're the one saying it. You're saying that congressmen that do this for a certain reason. I'm saying it's probably money. That's the biggest issue in politics.
Money from where?
Get the money from special interest groups.
Interested in what?
In whatever they want to be interested in.
In preventing HIV in Africa?
That's exactly what special interest is,
preventing
right?
HIV in Africa industrial complex?
It could be whatever. It's a special interest. There's people who are lobbying people to make sodomizing kids legal, right? Do you have these crazy leftist groups that are special interests?
You think leftists? You know that libertarians are the ones who are the most supportive of child marriage.
Was that like a poll or something like that? They polled libertarians. Like, what were you talking about? They're making these grand statements without any foundation. I can't even respond to that.
But you think it's
that's like me saying all trolls. Like
you're the one who started saying it's the leftists. So I would love to hear what you're pulling from there.
What's the leftist? No, what I said was that everyone has special interests. The left is trying to codify these terrible acts into law, and they are a special interest.
What terrible acts?
I mean, look at the left. What are they doing? They're trying to break up the nuclear family. They're trying to make victims.
What are they trying to codify into law?
I'm telling you right now, the government misinformation board under Joe Biden almost passed until the outlash from people who were pissed off. You understand that he was literally going to say the government can decide what is true and not? I mean, think about that. That was under Joe Biden. And I don't know if you know about this. It's called the Government Disinformation Board. And it was supposed to be, they were going to dictate what is disinformation and misinformation and what is true. And that came from the left. So that's just one example of many.
No, but you're saying something about like fornicating children that the leftists were supporting. I would love to hear you.
You did say a leftist extremist group.
Yeah, leftists are trying to abolish the minimum age of consent. They're trying to abolish the fact, there's leftists that's saying that you can marry animals. Did you know that? Because when you go to postmodernism, there is no objective reality other than what exists in your head. So whatever stupid bullshit you invent in your head, you can say, this is my lived experience. And if you don't agree with me, then I'm a victim and you're doing microaggressions and then you're an oppressor. That's the entire ballgame. So that's all it is.
But we can't, we don't know exactly how leftists are going for the fornicating children thing. That's just
dude, have you not been to like protests and stuff? Do you not? So let me tell you what I do.
To run protests.
Great. I go to protests all the time. Sometimes as undercover, sometimes as just trolling them, sometimes debating them. And the stuff that these people are pushing for that I see all the time are some of the most despicable things that you can think about. And they are pushing for it. Not everyone, but there are, because a left is so fractured, you have so much, it's postmodern. So you can make up whatever reality in your head and start pushing for that reality to become a alternate version of our reality. This is Hegelian dialectical materialism. That's exactly what it is. So you have all these people pushing for all this crazy stuff. So yes, and I don't know if you've been there, but you should talk to some leftists because they're fucking crazy, man.
Oh, don't I know it.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.